Oh, okay.
Hi.
So you said hi when it was you.
Because sometimes it pops up. Wait, see.
Oh.
Hello. We're going to wait a minute to see who's all here. Hello. Hi, Mrs. Mulvaney's class. All right, we're figuring out when Mrs. Manger's class was here. I'm looking for some more third grade teachers. Hello. All right, teachers, did we like the video? There's a little bit of a delay, yeah? All right, so first thing, oh, Stuber's watching, okay. I'm glad it made you laugh. Yep. All right, so I'm going to tell you right now, the purpose of watching that video is not to give each other corn dogs to eat at lunch, okay? So, bringing us to our first topic. Which things did the kid president talk about that you think should be said most of all? If you had to pick one or two things, which ones do you think should be said most over anything else? Go ahead and talk about it, and teachers can shout out. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to hit on Mrs. Freaky's class. They said the word sorry. Boys and girls, we can always say please and thank you in just our typical manners. But saying sorry is a little bit different. Why do you think saying sorry would be different to say instead of please or thank you? Anyone have any ideas? What makes saying sorry more difficult than saying please and thank you all the time? Sometimes we say please and thank you out of habit. Ms. Sanchez, I'm sorry can mean you did something wrong, and it's hard to accept that sometimes. Owning your actions, yep.
And you did something wrong.
Yep. Raise your hand if you've ever felt like you should say sorry and you didn't say sorry because it was too hard for you to actually get out of your mouth. Raise your hand. A lot of us raise our hands. Yeah, it's real. I think adults are the same way. It doesn't matter how old you are. Saying sorry is it can be really hard to say, but it's also very powerful. Let's do a scenario. Let's say you're walking down the hallway and somebody bumps into you, not on purpose, but you didn't like it. But they don't say sorry. What's the first thing you think of if someone runs into you and they don't say sorry? They did it what? On purpose, yeah, that they did it on purpose. And you get angry naturally. Come to find out, did you mean to run into me?
No.
No, I didn't mean to run into you.
Crowded.
It was an accident. But saying you're sorry could fix that instantly and cause, avoid people from getting angry and whatnot. Okay, so really keep that one in mind. I really like that. Yeah, you might think they're rude. All right. Kid president talked about barbecue sauce on someone's shirt, and he said, what did it mean when he said, before you talk about someone else's barbecue sauce on their shirt, talk about the barbecue sauce on your own shirt? What's that mean? Go ahead and take a minute to talk, teachers. Yeah. I think that's a huge part of it, worrying about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Show empathy. Nice.
Very good. Don't judge others until you judge yourself. Mm-hmm.
We all have our faults.
Yep.
Don't tease anyone.
Yeah. And so while we're on that topic, and just think about it. Somebody might have barbecue sauce on their shirt. Somebody might have the same shirt on that they wore yesterday. Somebody might have got their hair cut and their hairline doesn't look as good as you think it could. Somebody might have shoes on where the shoelaces are all messed up and they're not clean anymore. And when people start talking about those things, it makes the other person feel uncomfortable. There's nothing good that comes out of having those conversations. It's just something that makes people uncomfortable and self-conscious. And 9 out of 10 times, if somebody were to then look at you, they could probably come up with something that's not perfect about you too. And it's really hard to remember that sometimes. I'm reading what you guys wrote. Before you tell someone else they've done something wrong, think about what you've done yourself as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who's ever been in a situation where you felt like you told the teacher or somebody else what another student did, and then the teacher stops and said, well, did you do anything? And then you stop and go, sure did. Has anyone had that happen to them before? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's part of owning your actions, but it goes back to being respectful to people. Okay. Talk about some gossip. How do you feel about gossip?
Oof. How do I feel about gossip?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, well, it's a lot like toothpaste. So if you think about your toothpaste, the tube that the toothpaste comes out of, when you squeeze out that toothpaste, is it easy to get back in? I don't think you're ever going to be able to get that back in there. So if you think about gossip like that, once you say something, it's hard to take it back. Just like toothpaste, when you squeeze it out of the tube, it's hard to get it back in there.
Yep. Okay. And sometimes the gossip, when people start saying things about other people, whether they're true, whether they're not true, whether they heard from a friend that person wasn't being nice to them, so then they feel like they need to say something back, it's hurtful, and it's really hard to clean that up. To that person, their feelings are hurt, and they might never get over it completely. But at the same time, how do you think other people are going to respond to you if they hear you talking about other people? What kind of person do you think that makes you in the eyes of everybody else if you're the one talking about people? Good? Not so good? Yeah, maybe. Yep. Okay. So we have to build people up. We can't do things that are going to build people down. Here's a piece of paper. Let's say this is a person, okay? And I say something mean about them. Their feelings were hurt, right? Now let's say, will you turn my radio down? Sorry, my radio's going on. Let's say this happened. Then at recess that same day, they got a hole in their shirt. And then 3 people made fun of them while they were at lunch. So now their feelings are hurt a little more, okay? And then what else happens to that student?
They were presenting in front of the class and they tripped, and a couple kids, you could hear them laughing.
Okay, yeah. And then they tripped, a couple kids laughed, and then during the presentation, they were so worried about the people that were laughing at them that they started to read, and they forgot how to pronounce one of the words in their presentation, and they read it completely wrong, and the teacher had to help them correct the word, and then a couple of the same kids went, they can't read that either. Okay, this person is in a whole lot of pieces, right? So you can apologize and start to help them piece themselves back together, and the teachers can talk to them, and maybe they go home and vent to their parents, and their parents say, ignore them, whatever. But if I tape all of these pieces back together, is it going to look the same? Is the paper going to look the same as when it started if I tape them all back together? Look how many pieces there are. Is it going to look the same if I tape it back together? Why not? What's wrong with that person? They're all put back together. They came back to school the next day. They're fine. Right? So, yep. Yep. They still might be hurt, and they'll still remember. Okay. And they'll remember who did it. So you have to think about what kind of person you want to be and what you can do to build people up. So to finish today, 2 last questions. At the end of the video, Kid President ask what you think needs to be said more. What do you think needs to be said more that maybe he didn't mention? Hi. Yeah.
Good morning.
Nice things.
Let's dance.
Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. Awesome. So in order to practice this, I want each teacher to give a shout out to a different classroom. So each classroom, pick another classroom, give them a shout out and say something nice to them. Whether it's, we hope you have a good day. If you're going through anything, we're here for you. Think of something nice to say that can build people up. Go ahead and give a shout out to another class. Mrs. Reese's class is getting all kinds of compliments.
Yeah.
Let's see some for 4th and 5th grade. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So teachers, if you want to talk any more about specific things that go on in your classroom that maybe Kid President touched on, or just something we've talked about, feel free to do that now. Boys and girls, I believe in all of you. I think you're all great people, and we just need to remember to stop and think so we can make Montford Heights a great, happy, and safe place for everybody to be every day. I hope everybody has a fabulous Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.